Hello everyone, and welcome to the history of the Jebus dynasty, where last time we saw the last days of Emperor Candy's reign, for finally passing away at the age of 85, having massively expanded his empire. Today we will follow on with the inheritance of one of his younger sons, Emperor Flame, of the Holy Roman Empire. Like his father before him, Emperor Flame was genetically gifted, being a noted genius and comely, and like his father, was very much the epitome of the idealized Catholic ruler, being humble, content, and trusting. However, Emperor Flame was known for being Midas-touched, incredibly good with finances, but being kept idle in the court for so long had left him to gain a reputation for being a drunkard. He and his wife, Adolchisa, had already had 4 children, including Flame's heir, Latebird. And as Flame took to the imperial throne on the 20th of October 1318, he was determined to continue his father's dream of refounding the Roman Empire. In order to bring himself onto the Pope's good side, Flame's first act was to restore papal control over Rome itself. The Pope would remain Flame's vassal, but he would control the city of Rome, as well as the papal holdings in Pisa. However, as Flame rose to the throne, the overbearing shadow of his late father Candy weighed heavily on him. Determined to become as famous as his father, Emperor Flame abandoned his humble origin. In its place, he showed signs of arrogance. For over 100 years, artisans had sought to outdo King Doctor's shiny mail, and finally they managed it. The smith Gerberga produced the Tyrrhenian mail, and this would be worn by Emperor Flame himself. To start his career and match the deeds of his father, Flame's first act was to march on Jerusalem, pushing a claim for his distant relative, Prince Abiladru, for the throne of Jerusalem. Arriving in August 1319, the Jebus armies quickly took Jerusalem and defeated the defending army at Ma'ab. While the war was ongoing, Flame set off for the university at Messina for a visit, and after only 10 months of fighting, the war in Jerusalem was brought to an end. Jerusalem, the land won by his grandfather, was now brought into the fold of the rest of the Jebus Empire. Returning from his studies, Emperor Flame was known from then on as a great architect. Next, Flame would turn back to the Byzantine Emperor, declaring war for the county of Antioch, a seemingly small county that had a big part in Emperor Flame's ambition. The opening battle of the war took place at Caesar and was a dramatic victory for Flame's forces, killing 20,000 men, nearly half the enemy army. Moving swiftly, the county of Antioch was taken, further driving Flame's efforts towards victory. And at the Battle of Syriana, another 40,000 troops were lost across both sides, but whereas Flame could absorb the casualties, this left the Byzantine army devastated. And shortly thereafter, the Byzantine emperor surrendered Antioch. Next on Flame's plan was a grand pilgrimage to Jerusalem, following in his ancestors' footsteps and first coming ashore in Egypt to tour the local sites. But while on pilgrimage, after just arriving at the Holy City, grim news arrived for the Emperor. His wife had died in childbirth. Next in Flame's plan would be a holy war. Wanting to push control over the southern tip of Iberia, he declared a holy war for the Ibiciliad Malachite. The opening battle of this new holy war was a great victory at Medellin, a quarter of the enemy army being destroyed. Second great battle was fought at Placentia. Another 10,000 of the defenders were destroyed. After the Battle of Cabra, the defenders had no choice but to surrender the south of the Iberian Peninsula. New lands would be gifted to Flame's third son, also called Flame. Next, Flame would set out on another holy journey, this time to the Vatican. After completing his pilgrimage to Rome, Flame became known across the realm as being a religious icon. Then with control of Constantinople, Antioch, Jerusalem, Alexandria and Rome, Flame had reunited all of the great holy sees of the original Pentarchy, and with this he was able to mend the Great Schism, joining together Catholics and Orthodox once again. And so the Ecumenical Church was founded, and Emperor Flame was forever known by the nickname the Ecumenist. Catholic control now extended all across the Mediterranean. Next, Flame turned his attention to the Duchy of Gallica, wanting to strengthen his hold on the Iberian Peninsula. As the war was ongoing, another peasant uprising took place. Flame concentrated on his initial enemies, slaughtering the enemy at the Battle of Tui. Shortly thereafter, the enemy castle fell and victory was declared. And on the return journey, the army stopped off at Sabta to put down the peasant uprising. And in 1327, with the Orthodox faith now considered a heresy, Flame was able to declare a holy war against the Byzantine Empire, striking at their holdings in Greece, moving for the Duchy of Athens. Following the tactics of his father, Flame's troops landed, engaging the disorganized enemy as they came ashore. It worked wonders, destroying 20,000 Imperial troops. After 22 months of fighting, during which Flame was mostly occupied with his own grand wedding to his second wife, victory was declared and the Duchy of Athens fell to the Jebus dynasty. Putting the good of his realm ahead of his personal inclinations, Candy declared war on Navarra. His close friend, King Antonio, would be on the other side of the battle lines. But Flame wanted to continue to push, and notably expand and capture all the de jure lands that were currently outside his realm. The initial battles of the war at Aveiro were a colossal victory for the Imperial forces, 2 major armies being defeated in a row. And shortly after, the remainder of the Navarrian army was destroyed at Gumiares. And in a cruel trick of fate, Candy's second wife, Ari, was murdered mere weeks after their wedding. After remarrying, this time the spindly Princess of Wales, Candy turned his attention back to his dynasty, starting a tradition of shared ideas. With the Navarrian army in tatters, Flame's men were free to lay siege to great swathes of Navarrian territory, quickly forcing a capitulation. Not wasting a moment, Flame turned to his friend the Pope and requested a claim on the Duchy of Slavonia. The sinful band Stana had earned the Pope's ire, and this would allow Flame to declare war on Croatia, which he did on the 11th of December 1329. So ever the war began with a great battle, this time at Tolmin, in which the Croatian army suffered heavy losses. It was at this point in his career that Flame became known as avaricious, always wanting more. And after a series of brief sieges, victory was able to be declared against the Croatians. The embattled Byzantine Empire began to fragment with civil war, Duke Mihilo of Dukla declaring independence and opening an opportunity for Flame, who declared war to push one of his own duke's claims on the duchy. The war was one-sided, Candy's personal guard landing at Les Airs and wiping out the defenders. And Flame's bombards made quick work of the defending castles, and the Duchy of Dukia was captured. Wanting to expand his hold on Egypt, Candy next declared a holy war on the Duchy of Al-Sad. And as the armies were gathering, Flame's son Latebird came of age. He had proven himself to be a brilliant strategist, gregarious, generous and just. He was also a genius and hale. The opening battle of this war took place in Cairo with 10,000 defenders being wiped out, followed by a battle at Hulwan further south in which 13,000 of the enemy were destroyed. And as the Jebus bombards reached the enemy capital, the war was brought to a swift end. The Kingdom of Egypt was able to be created and was given to Candy III. Then in 1334, Flame put the penultimate part of his plan into action and declared another holy war, this time for Achaia. The opening battle took place at Aetolia, where 100,000 imperial troops engaged the Byzantines, destroying 20,000. Two more battles were fought, the first at Thessalonitis, in which 5,000 Byzantines were routed, followed by the Battle of Thessala, where 7,000 were lost. Another battle at Zetununi cut down the remaining enemy in half. After just 18 months of fighting, the war was brought to an end. Achaia was added to Emperor Flame's realm. New land was handed to one of his younger sons, Itumbot. Now, with the Roman lands of Italia and Greece completely controlled by the Holy Roman Empire, Emperor Flame could denounce the Byzantines as mere pretenders, and immediately a new war was declared to dismantle the Pretender Empire. This did involve breaking a truce, and so some dishonour was imposed on Flame. With the enemy still in disarray after the previous war, the first battles were a slaughter. Once mighty Byzantine army brought to its knees. After taking the enemy capital and defeating their armies once more at the Battle of Stanimaka, victory could be declared. The Byzantine Empire was destroyed, and with that what was left of the empire broke into smaller sections, much of it being immediately handed over to the Holy Roman Empire, others as small isolated princedoms, ripe for the taking, and so Flame was closing in on his dream of restoring the original Roman Empire. But for the second part of his reign, we will have to wait until next time, for we will leave Flame there for now, aged 53. Thank you all for watching, and farewell.